Two, and welcome back to another episode of Breaking the Cycle, episode 9, with our special guest, LetMeKnowBarry. How's everyone doing on this fantastic Sunday, pre 4th of July? Beardy, by the way, we are huge fans of the hat. And did you get the um, Bitcoin and American flag Speedo that I had sent you?
I got delayed somewhere in shipping, but I should have it on by tonight.
Okay, cool, good. I expect photos and videos for the group chat.
Hello, everyone.
Alrighty, so I guess we will go ahead and hop into our first question, which is for our special guest Barry. Barry,
All right.
what made you get into crypto, and what has helped you survive in the bear markets in the past and this one?
Wow. First off, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Humble
of
invite.
course.
Why did one get into crypto? Accidentally, as a hedge years ago. You know what I mean? Stumbled into crypto about 2014. Entered into the good old Dogecoin. Did a little bit of mining. Wound up carrying that all the way through till Elon's big debut, and did well. Moved that over, diversified into other real tokens, and also held some off into cash, which helped out when you entered into a bear market. But what actually helps somebody? Education. Ran into a good community, good mentor, good people. Beardy being one of the good people. A gentleman by the name of Ken Stanfield being one of the only mentor, really. Fantastic man, sharing his knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to start looking into more of Ken's stuff. I've been following him, but I haven't been watching like the stuff that he puts out. I just look at like his posts and tweets, and I see that you and Beardy talk about him. He did that interview recently with James from Invest Answers, and he seems like a legit guy.
Yeah. From my perspective, I'm not saying what he's got going on is going to work for everybody, but I'll definitely say that what he's got going on and the people that are in the community, they all seem to be on the same wavelength, and we all seem to be doing pretty good, even in this rough time.
Yeah. And how long have you been involved in his community, approximately?
Officially an ambassador of his program for about a year or so now. But
Nice.
Tuning in with his videos since he was out in 2001ish.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's a long time.
Yeah. COVID hit. Everybody was home, so tuning into a good financial show was time well spent.
Nice. Yeah, definitely sounds like it. That's really cool. I had never heard of him until Beardy and had started talking about him. So I'm with Grinder in that camp that I need to do some more research on it. But so now we've kind of got a brief overview of you, buddy. Let's go on to question number 2, which is let's discuss the ETF games being played and who do you think gets the first approval? We know it's just a matter of when, right? Like it's going to at some point happen. We just don't know when and who it's going to be. So
it's going to be Larry Fink and his BlackRock guys.
Mm-hmm.
When you go into a supermarket, if they really wanted to put the major label on it, I believe most of your supermarket would say Pepsi. And then after that, who owns the majority share of Pepsi?
BlackRock.
The guy runs the company owns it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. We all thought it was Barry Silbert. Barry and his 10 billion under management. That's billion with a B. Larry comes in with like 10 trillion with a T.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to turn him down. They'll poke him around. I forget who said it. Oh my God, I'd love to quote him, but and I believe it was one of the guys in my group. And they said, Gary and the SEC are going to poke around to the big boys now, just so it could look like it's their choice.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree with that sentiment. I think that the ETF games are just that. It's games. They're trying to delay things as long as possible to try to give traditional finance as much time as possible to get ahead of the new players that are coming out. I mean, I think 5 years from now, it's going to be laughable, this series of events that kind of occurred, with everybody saying, crypto's bad, Bitcoin's bad, it's a scam, blah, 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 blah. And then everybody flipping, and then the SEC trying to shut all the people down who are in there, and then handing permission over to all the old players who are trying to get into the space. And it's like, guys, crypto's been around for over a decade, and you had plenty of time to get into this. You ignored it for so long, and now you're trying to catch up, and you're punishing the people who saw the innovation for what it was. I mean, it really sucks that this is the way that the world works, but it is how it works. And you see it time and time again across all different types of life. You see, I have this saying that I say with a lot of my clients in regards to stuff. It's same process, different content. And another way of kind of thinking about that is, can you find the same theme on a generalized scale, but all the details or specifics are slightly different? But if you can bring it back out to that generalized view of the same theme, these human patterns of behavior are everywhere, and this is no different. So yeah, I agree. I think BlackRock will be the first to be approved because they are the gorilla in the room.
Yeah.
As a secondary answer, I said maybe ARK would be like the first one to be approved, because they claim that they apparently have their filing was submitted sooner for a spot ETF, but I don't
I
think
think
that
they were
they
one
have.
of the first, actually.
Yeah, but I don't think they have the same weight as BlackRock, obviously. So I think one of those two will technically be the first to be approved, but the BlackRock one is the important one here.
I'm gonna push back a little bit on that one. Actually, I have a little bit of a different take on that.
Okay. Yeah, go
I
for it, man.
think that it's not going to be BlackRock that's first. And the reason I think that they're not going to get it first is, one, you have, like Grinder just mentioned, ARC, and there's the Grayscale and a few others that have filed previous, right? Now, we already know that Gensler is in hot water and is not Patrick McHenry, who is the chair of the Financial Committee in Congress, of the House,
Mhm.
rather. He is not a fan of Gensler, and he's already tweeted out, I'm paying very close attention to this, or I'm paraphrasing that, but like, I'll be watching you like a hawk. It's something along those lines, to
Yeah.
at Gary, when BlackRock tweeted that out, right? So, one, I think that if they actually approve, Gary approves BlackRock first, I think that's going to be the final nail in the coffin for him, because there's going to be everyone coming to the market, especially ARK, Grayscale, who are already suing them for the right to have the ETF, who have said, hey, we'll do everything that they're doing. We will include it. Whatever they say that you say is, works, we're going to do. So they've already named Fidelity, also named Coinbase as the whoever's going to, be the spot, or the secret squirrel spy for them, or whatever that is for the NASDAQ.
Yeah, the surveillance
There you go.
and the custodian.
Yep. So they've already,
Nasdaq's going to be the surveillance. Coinbase is going to be the custodian.
correct. And then Coinbase has agreed to work with NASDAQ and to confirm all of their prices, like a backup, I guess, or something, is what I read, I think, on Twitter. So you've got all these companies who are out there first saying, hey, we'll do that too. And then I think it's honestly, I think it would be political suicide if he just said, yeah, we're going to give it to BlackRock first, as opposed to giving it to like one of the people who have been in the space a lot longer. And I think that, like, are they going to suffer a little bit for it financially? Yes. But do I think that BlackRock is willing to bring the heat on themselves that would come with jumping in front of line and being the largest asset holder in the world? I think that would raise some serious questions at Congress, and especially with the James O'Keefe thing that just came out, where they admitted to buying, congressmen and senators all the time. I think that would be a situation that BlackRock is not willing to put themselves in. So I think that they would honestly tell Gary and everyone, hey, we'll go like fourth. We'll go third. We'll be in the top 5 of people who get, approved the approval, but we don't want to be number 1 because we're already in some hot water and we don't want to get in anymore. We don't want anyone else looking at us and digging any further into, our shady ass business dealings. So we're just gonna, sit in on our hands and be good little boys and wait our turn for the first time in a decade,
Hmm.
And rant.
Interesting take. Yeah, interesting take.
And rant.
Well, the only reason I brought on LetMeKnowBarry is because I spoke with LetMeKnowGary, Gary Gensler, and he wants to be able to put the toothpaste back into the tube, But I told him, Gary, it's too late. It's kind of sad that they have to just try to save face now and look like
Well,
they're probably coordinating with BlackRock to be like, okay, we'll be third and everybody will be happy and make them all shut up. I'll make all the monkeys sit down and be happy.
Yep.
If you look at it on a whole, though, it's never what they say; it's what they do. So,
Yes.
how did Kraken get their bank charter started in what is it, Utah, Wisconsin, Utah, maybe?
I have no idea.
Yeah, forgive me, but they got a bank charter that's very special because they deal with fiat cash and crypto, and they were like the only bank to ever do it in the U.S. It's the first charter of its kind. It's like, all right, well, how'd you guys get that if you had crypto right there in the face and the United States government wasn't aware of it? How did Coinbase go public if the United States government was aware of it, but they didn't want to be aware of it? How did any of this get so far down the road, especially with those two large companies, Kraken and Coinbase, without anybody saying, well, what are you guys planning on doing?
Mm-hmm.
It's like somebody behind closed doors must have logged into Kraken, must have logged into Coinbase and said, oh, these boys are trading cryptos. So somebody someplace definitely didn't do their job, or they're lying through their teeth because government don't talk to little man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what they do. It's not what they say. And what they've been doing is approving these companies to basically entrap us, I guess, into buying these products. If you want to look at it that way.
Right.
You let the guy sell me this stuff, and now years later, you're going to tell me that it's not possible. It's illegal. You can't trade this stuff.
Yeah. It's so backwards.
Just like the Coinbase IPO. Like, okay, you said they're legit. Now you're gonna let them custody all these ETFs.
Yeah.
Right. And they were going after Brian like what, 4, 5, 8 months ago? They were suing him for something.
They still are.
Right. So it's like, what are you doing? You're suing him in one realm. You let him go public in another. He's going to be the custodian for something new. What's going on? The reality is
who the United States government sells Bitcoin through.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's the one that really kicks me in the nuts. It's like, wait a minute. He sells the Bitcoin and the crypto assets that you seized, but
well, have they ever sold anything besides Bitcoin on there?
You know what? I don't know that I don't actually know that or not, but I thought that
I don't think so.
I thought they had some like seized ETH from Silk Road too.
Yeah, but the question is, did they sell it?
Yeah.
And I think that's the loophole that they're gonna like point to. Is they're like, oh well, we're selling. It's okay to sell Bitcoin because that's a commodity. Or that we're eventually gonna finally say that it's a commodity. Versus all the other stuff where they're like, nope, security, everything's a security.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know. It's all a good question. It's all kind of up in the air, and I don't think anyone really knows what's going on other than maybe Larry Fink and Gary Gensler.
I'm definitely taking it as a bullish sentiment, though. 3 years ago, nobody was talking about it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm not mad about it at all.
Super bullish, yeah.
Yeah, it's all bullish. And like this, what day was it this week? Yeah, this Friday this week. It just goes to show how like retail and people who are not in the space on like a regular basis like we are just doesn't understand what's happening, because that scare on Friday with a report comes out that says the headline is SEC says that the BlackRock ETF filing is inadequate. But then when you go through and you actually read it, it's like, oh, you just didn't name Coinbase as your custodian. You need to resubmit it with the actual name of the custodian. So like you saw that price action that day with the doji candle, showing that indecision where it was starting to pump up and try to like test the top of the range and break out of the range that we've been in, and then that news comes out and everybody panics. So all that was a bunch of retail selling to whales, and the whales scooped that up perfectly when it went back to the former start of the fib level that I had on my chart, and they just bought up that horizontal support perfectly. And retail gets wiped out with stuff like that because you act on emotions rather than the math.
Oh, breaking news. They forgot to initial page 726. Deals
Right.
Honestly, really though. You know what it reminds me of? Do you guys ever watch that show Supernatural?
No.
No.
Okay, never mind. So there's this scene. It's a really horrible show that my ex got me started on, and it's like super cringe, and it's like monsters, and it's a good, like, if you guys get a chance to binge and want to binge something, the first couple seasons are pretty rough because it was a real low budget, but it's actually kind of funny. It's got some funny moments in it, but they've got this part where the devil is making a deal with a monster, and like the devil whips out this huge long contract. It's like 19 feet, and they proceed to go through it line by line, debating it. And it just reminds me of what you guys were talking about, and like how that's literally how this game is played. Like, oh,
Yeah.
yep, you missed a comma here, so you're gonna have to go back. That's all it was. It's just like a clerical error that they're like, hey, just fix that for us real quick. And everyone was trying to, and like Grinder said, it was retail selling to the whales because the whales wanted to, because they didn't buy enough when it was cheap enough. So they're like, hey, let's scare the shit out of these guys, and then make them sell to us. We'll dip it down to, I don't remember what it got down to. Someone knows, but I don't.
It got down to 29.4.
There you go. So that's what, like a $2,000 or almost like what was it, like 31 at that, or
Yeah, it
at
was
that point?
31.2.
Yeah. So right around like I don't know, I'm bad at math, $1,500 to $1,800 discount.
Right at resistance.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I
It was
don't.
an $1,800 discount.
It's going to happen again. So
to
have your.
6%.
It'll probably happen again. So have your pocketbooks ready, ladies.
Yeah. So I'm actually really impressed with my math abilities as a dyslexic person on that one. Whoo-hoo!
You did good, Joe.
I know. Smooth monkey brain. So, yeah, I think that they're, like they're just going to keep doing that where, they'll throw out some FUD, and then, they'll tell someone to throw out some FUD, and they'll buy the $1,800 discount, and gladly do it, because that across, when you're spending $100 million, $1,800 is a lot of fucking money, like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
add that up, that's substantial how much
Well,
you
it
just
was,
bought extra.
yeah. I mean, it was like a 5 to 6% drop. So if you can get a large order filled at 5 to 6% lower,
Yeah.
that's great. That's great.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's what's going to add the extra profits the next bull run, like, 'cause they didn't get in. Oh, I'm sure they've been getting in, super heavy by like our imagination, but like by their standards, they have nothing, like we're looking at them like that's like my entire ambition in life is to hold like a quarter of what you're holding. And like not even a quarter, like a 16th, and these dudes are just like, we need more. Fuck.
Right.
All right, guys.
Yeah. So the day that we're talking about here is this doji candle right there. I'll move that over. So you can see that it was basically a flat day, but a large tail wick on the bottom and a large wick on the top. And so then if we zoom into this can become like a little bit clearer for you here. Let's draw a diagonal. And we'll draw the bottom of the wedge down here.
Yep.
Change that one to green. So see, that's all that happened. We were trying to break out of the top of this wedge pattern, and then that news came out and it skyrocketed down. But then people bought it up and put it right back into the middle. And then so, now we're testing right now. And if we can get a weekly close above that wedge, I mean, I wouldn't say the wedge is really that strong of an indicator. This a horizontal resistance of like 30,700 is probably more key, but you can see that that news didn't do anything. And anybody who bought that dip, they were smart. They bought the dip.
Mm-hmm.
So I just figured I'd show that from a TA perspective.
Yeah, it only catches retail off guard. The big boys, they got their TA experts. They probably got their charts up when they're making the moves. They're not gonna buy at the top.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they probably have the best TA people in the world doing crypto too.
I would think so. If you're moving that much money, you gotta know what you're doing.
Well, maybe not the best because we've got the best, grinder here. But, I guess they might have a close second.
I would hope they have their institutional version of "Don't go to sleep without your bets placed down low."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure they have to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it didn't stay down there that long. I mean, if we go over to the 1 hour and look at that same wedge, you can see that price action all occurred basically in 2 or 3 hours. So yeah, you had to have your buy orders ready to go to get that wick.
Yeah.
So
yes. All right. So following up, we are going to question number 3 to something Grinder and I were discussing on Twitter. We're going to follow up on our similar yet different holdings in our crypto stuff. So, buddy, go ahead and kick it on off for us.
yeah, so every Sunday I try to put out an update on my current portfolio allocations. I don't put it up every week because I've been like juggling things around. The percentages move just because the prices of the tokens move. I only really add Bitcoin here and there during this stage of the cycle. But yeah, I posted this, and these are my current percentages as of last Sunday. So I'm Bitcoin heavy at this stage in the game, with Ethereum being a close second, I would say. But between the two of them, you're looking at 86, 80, almost 87% of my portfolio between those two big boys there. And then you've got everything else underneath it. So Solana is my Ethereum hedge. I think that it can, provide a better service eventually, but it is behind in terms of like the amount of time that it's been out. So it's going to take a little while, but I see Solana as like buying Ethereum in, 2015, 2016. So I'm going to wait on that, collect my stake, and see where that goes. Matic is a larger portion than my other alts because I see it as running in tandem with Ethereum as the layer 2 solution that Ethereum desperately needs in order to be able to survive at its size now. And then Cardano is my decentralized layer 1 play to kind of get into that side of the market. And then the Dogecoin is just large because I still have so much left over from my mining days. Yeah, back Barry, you mentioned at the beginning, like we basically did the same thing. We did the same thing, man. We got into Doge on its first year, mined it, bought it, whatever it was, and held it for 7.5 years, and totally worth it. So. And then, yeah, all these other tokens down at the bottom, they're just kind of like these little plays. I'm a gamer, so I went into Engine because I think that there could be an economy there once as video games kind of get on board with Web3. I've got Chili's because I think eventually sports bros will come into this space and they'll be gambling their money on sports themed related things. Chainlink because it's the #1 Oracle. Polkadot. because I wanted to have a little bit of another layer 1 play. And then Uniswap, that's my DEX play. But you can see that all of those positions are less than 0.5% at this point. So, I mean, that's money that if it was all lost, it doesn't really matter to me. But if it blows up, it can give you a sizable amount to rotate into something else.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Nice. Let me go ahead and pull mine up. So mine's the numbers have shifted a little bit, but it's actually, hold on, let me look. Actually, it shifted a bunch. So currently, I'm at 68% Bitcoin, 13.59% Ethereum, 12.11% Solana, 5.34% Graph, 0.79%. It was 0.69%, but it went up, unfortunately. For Render, and then I've got 0.04% in Gala. And honestly, I don't even know why I have Gala. I think it's kind of an interesting project, but I was like, I don't know, let me throw like $100 at it, and then it's kind of done. I don't even know if I'm in profit or not from it, to be completely honest with you. So I let me hold on. All right.
Gala's trying to make some moves. They're poking around back there. They were originally just video games, and now they've gone to like Gala Studios. They're trying to get into like movies and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I guess my kind of thinking is Bitcoin, because obviously it's the king. Ethereum, I think is obviously a great play. I think it's kind of funny that we both have almost the exact same amount between our top two. They're just in different ways. Like I have 81.68% is between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and yours is, I think you said, almost like 81%. So it's kind of funny that they're the exact same. Almost. Great minds think alike, I guess. Solana, for the exact same reason you said. I think it is like it's my chance to buy ETH because I didn't get the chance to buy ETH cheap, So I kind of look at it as my chance to buy ETH with everything that it's doing. I know it's got its issues. I did just see whatever the founder's name is. You guys will know it, and I don't.
Anatoly Yakovenko.
Thank you. That dude. He just came out and said that if Fire Dancer is live by the end of 2023, there's a chance that Solana gets out of beta. That was something that Grinder, you and I had spoken about previously, was that if they had made some kind of significant move towards moving out of beta, by starting to the beginning of the bull run, I was going to, seriously consider dumping my Solana and putting it into ETH. And so I was actually very happy to hear that, because, that was kind of one of my hard lines that I was like, hey, this needs to happen or I'm out. So that I'm happy that they've made some moves on that. I think it's because Tony, whatever his name is, has been listening to the show so much. So I think he didn't want to lose he didn't want us to drop our bags on him. So and then Render or Graph, because it's the Google of crypto. It's going to do, or the Oracle stuff, where it takes two different parties and figures them out and then spits out the correct answer. You guys are probably more technical, you could explain it better, but that's my basic understanding of how to explain it. And then Render, because I think it's cool that you're going to be able to use someone else's technology for AI stuff, or their unused space on their hardware, however that works. I think that's kind of cool for AI, and it's an AI push, and it's not even, I don't have that very much. So if either of those, I think my Graph is up higher right now because I bought, a decent chunk of it when it was at like 9 cents. So, it blew up at 1 cent, kind of, made it bigger into what it is. So,
and the idea behind that, like, I don't know what you would call it, like that technology or that sharing of like space. It's been around for a while. Like I remember when I was in college in 2009 through 2013, there were professors that would have like their desktop go to like a screensaver. When it would go to screensaver mode, it would send its computing power to like some research firm somewhere. And at that time, they were just doing it for free. They were, they were doing it out of like the kindness of their heart or like the belief in whatever research those people were doing.
Hmm.
This is, I see render as a way to do that in an ever increasing digitized electronic blockchain AI focused world, and people actually being able to be compensated for it because you have a token attached to it, the tokens get sent to you, it's all streamlined. So
Yeah.
it makes sense to me. I think it's going to take time to get legs, but maybe 5 to 10 years from now, it could be a token that potentially has hung around for a while. So I'm definitely looking at it. I do not have a position in it yet, but I'm definitely watching it and seeing where it's going to go.
I think it's really neat. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw a little bit of money at it just because I want to, see where it goes. And I think it's a real cool project. And if it takes 5 to 10 years for it to take off, that's cool because it gives me 5 to 10 years to DCA into it.
Hmm.
So I think that I didn't know that had, previously been a thing where, done for free. But I definitely think, especially with like chat GBT going off and all the, how the people like you do your, when you do your chart times, you come up with those AI generated art thingies.
Yeah.
I guess you can do, like that's something that you can use that technology for and stuff like that. I don't know. I think it's cool. So I was like, I'm going to do it. And then that's it. Beardy or Barry, did you guys have any comments or want to include, kind of your holdings or anything like that?
Yeah,
I know
Beardy, you
Barry
want to go
said he's
ahead?
a dirty bag holder. So
I'm a little bit of a dirty bag holder. Um,
Board Ape Yacht Club.
oh no, not even Board Ape, Block Ape Scissors.
Block
Yeah,
Ape
baby.
Scissors.
Starting with the like what we would call the honest bag. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
About 75% in Bitcoin. Uh, Big Daddy, as everybody says, got to have the majority of it there.
Yep.
And then the other 25% spread out. 7% of Polygon, 4% of Cardano. Polygon for obvious reasons, Cardano because it's Cardano.
Yep.
But these are all DCA'd in at nice low prices. Basic attention token. I didn't hear anybody bring up BAT. BAT's actually a token based off of the Brave browser.
Yep.
And you look at that token at current costings, and do the runaround again, expecting maybe in a 5-year return, or even the next bull run. Just something to play with, spit it in, spit it out. Gala Games 3% bought into Gala, started trading it, and then got stuck with a bag, and then DCA'd in, and then actually started doing research into the project. And then, as I said before, they started morphing their focus a little bit. And now they're trying to, go from Gala Games also into Gala Studios and stuff like that. So we'll see where they go. Engine, who brought up Engine before? I bought into some Engine. I got about 2% of Engine.
Nice.
Play to earns are definitely something I want to look at. One of my tokens, BAS, Block Ape Scissors, I've got that. But that's a much smaller holding than Engine. Just because Engine in market cap and, where it is on the leader as far as, gaming verse tokens and all that good stuff caught my eye. Polkadot, 1.7% of Polkadot in there, why? Because everybody likes a little polka. That's about it. Thesis on that, is everybody likes a polka. Dogecoin, 1.5%. Can't stop, won't stop with the Dogecoin. And then
Yeah,
you
I
start.
hope you guys dump that. Like, I hope Doge goes up like stupid amount in the next bull run and you guys just dump it. Like,
I'm
Oh
already
yeah.
out.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Of
already
course.
out. I could tell you a fantastic Doge story, but there's no need. It's I did well with Doge. Thank you, Doge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very jealous that I did not get into Bitcoin when it was like, I don't know, years ago when I was doing executive protection and for someone pretty famous and yeah. So we won't talk about the person on here, but
Yeah.
Yeah, look,
so
I mean, the only reason why that small percentage of Doge is still there is because of tax ramifications. I did not want to sell it and push myself into a higher bracket and pay more
makes sense.
taxes on it. So I was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, I guess I'm done selling it this year. I'll have to wait for the next time.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liquidated about 90% of my Doge.
Mm.
Yeah. Because it was, what are you going to hold, kid? Bitcoin or some meme coin? It's like, oh, okay, I'll
Right.
hold Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I got rid of like 95% of my Doge. Yeah. Like it's barely any left, but
Yeah. Yeah, coming down to the bottom of the bag, what's left in it? You got the bottom feeders. You got your Lunk Luna Classic. Made my money back plus some on Luna Classic and holding a large bag just for when it pumps again because people are nuts. Sell it off then. Got some BNB because you got to have your BNB token chains. Anybody got any Metapets? No, nobody holding Metapets. No.
Never even heard of it.
All right. Who's got the baby Doge in the house? Barry's
No.
got the baby Doge in the house. Yeah. I bought baby Doge like day 2. So go and look at that price comparatively. It's like my whole portfolio is red right now, except baby Doge is like screaming green. It's hysterical, And what are you going to do? You're going to hold on to baby Doge. Baby Doge actually has a bus in Long Island, New York that goes around and helps like actual dogs. And it's like an actual functioning thing. So God bless him if my little token's going to actually help a mutt somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's actually pretty cool. Like, so they just like that donates part of the proceeds to this bus that goes around and like helps dogs.
They work with an animal shelter out on Long Island. What is it called? It'll come to me, or you could actually Google it. It'll come up, Baby Doge Animal Help. But yeah, they're actually in cahoots with a real spot, and they've got a real size bus that's really painted. I don't even think it's vinyl wrapped. I think it's painted. They spent the money. And I guess they just go around, and whenever they have, because I guess like rescue spots, you get these puppy mills that get shut down. So how do they transport them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But yeah, they actually participate in helping an animal. So never mind, it's a meme coin, and I got some money wrapped into it. They're actually helping something on the planet. So I'll take that.
Yeah, that's actually pretty noble. If I had to buy a shit coin, then I think I'd probably buy Baby Doge moving forward.
I got some
forget about it.
I got some VRA, holding VRA just to see if it ever goes anyplace during a bull run. You know what I mean? And that basically bottoms out the bag.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So a little bit more of a gambler there on some things, but I like the gambles you're taking. I think that you've got some legs there on those coins for next cycle.
Anything under a certain holding is definitely, as you said yourself, it's money I wouldn't mind losing if I had to.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But if you look at the portfolio in general, again, 75% of it's sitting in Bitcoin. That's a nice strong holding, and then another 20% in the other boys, Matic and Bat and ADA, then starting to bottom out with Gala and Engine and stuff like that.
Yep.
I think the reason that I've never really got into shit coins because I'm just part of me doesn't want to lose any money. Like I've played a little bit with like what was it? Pepe. I put like $150 into Pepe, and it's at like $69 right now. That. But I was like, I could either go out this weekend and go drinking, or I can go try and make double my money. So I'll try and double my money and be the introvert that I am. But I guess I just have a hard time putting money into something that I'm like willing to lose because I don't. Part of me is like I don't want to fail.
Yeah. I do most of my shit coining like day 2 after it's announced. You know what I mean? Yeah, don't do your shit coining like week 3. You're done.
Right.
Yeah.
And you get used to it's hard to lose money at the beginning, but then when you start to get used to it and you see that like just like with the prices of currencies or stock market, like it goes up and down, but if you're making more good bets than bad bets, all the losses end up getting washed out.
I think it's also partly because this is going to be like my first full cycle. You know what I mean? Because like I came in towards the top of the bull market in the last cycle, so I rode it all the way down, and I'm still here, and I'm like, okay, and obviously I was buying down, like we talked about earlier. But I think after this cycle, I may be more comfortable with being like, oh, you know what, that sounds kind of cool. Let's throw like the money in that, like just right now. I want to focus on. I've got some goals that I'm trying to meet, and I'm hoping these are going to help me, to reach those goals. So I'm being very strict on it, I think, right now. But I think if I can reach those goals for the next one, then I'll be, like more like Barry, like, hey, yeah, let's see what happens with this.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, listen, rule one of investing, drum roll, never invest anything you're not prepared to lose.
Mhm.
Yep.
Very true. And when I turn on MetaMask and I get lost in my digital candy store, I only go with a couple of bucks that I know that, if I blow it all on Hershey bars, I'll be all right.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Beardy, Bubba, anything?
Yeah, I knew you like to play with your Pepe, but
I do. I was hoping you would play with my Pepe with me.
well,
Oh my God.
I am Beardy Day Maxi, so I am astounded that I'm the only morally superior one here. That you guys are a bunch of degens, but
Aren't you an EOS whale, bro?
truth be told, 50% EOS, 50% Pepe. No, actually, I'm pretty much 100%.
Damn it, Beardy.
I don't have the clearly neat charts like you guys, but I pretty much have it all in Bitcoin, and I got 150 Solana, and then I trade with stuff. So that's all I got right now.
Okay.
Well, you really are actually kind of a maxi. I didn't
Pretty
realize that
much,
you were
yeah.
joking. I thought you were joking
No.
about that.
No, pretty much all Bitcoin.
Is it like that just because of this stage of the cycle, and next bull run you're going to mess around with your gains and put it into alts, or you don't even want to really touch alts?
No, I've been trading alts, but I'm waiting for like maybe Benjamin's 60%, 70% dominance, and then it's like, well, Bitcoin's not going to outperform anything at that point, but give it a little longer. I don't think we've mentioned Bitcoin dominance yet, so.
Right.
Well, and you had a goal for, a certain amount of Bitcoin, I think, for each child, right?
Yeah, I did when I had 3, and then we popped out twins, so I'm like, how's this going to work?
Yeah,
Bitcoin will help you make it work.
Yeah, Bitcoin's definitely going to make that work for you, Bubba. Don't worry.
Yeah.
No baby Doge or block ape scissors for me.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Barry's over here like,
listen, Block 8, not financial advice. They just put out a tweet again today. They were accepted into Binance's incubation thing like middle of last year or something like that, damn near 12 months ago. And they went through it and they wrote it into the bear market. And then today they put it out. They're getting up with oh my God, I'd have to go check the tweet. A whole bunch of new players in the game, and these are like real players in the game. But Binance now owns an actual percentage of their company. So if Binance went from incubation to owning a percentage of their company, I mean, Binance isn't going to flaunt what Binance doesn't own. So, it's not going to be a super hot token, but if you look at the price, not financial advice, and any kind of plausible direction, it could theoretically be a good bet.
That's interesting, and I didn't even. Well, I mean, I'm not aware of that project, so I'm not aware. But that's actually real interesting.
It's a play to earn.
Okay.
The last cycle, I sat through a beta where we were basically sitting around playing rock paper scissors, but it's block ape scissors, and we were farming tokens through a play to earn. And I had about like 7 or 8 NFTs, but you could only play one NFT at a time. So I had a whole bunch of other people in other countries that were renting the seat to play and basically run the mech through the game. And they were getting, I think, 25% of the payout, and I was getting 75% out of the payout in the play to earn because I was the NFT holder. Nice. They were only the mech driver. I was actually holding the mech. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. So it was really interesting, and they're still going, and they've done well, and they've kept me entertained, which I think is first and foremost. So
Block that sounds like a cool project.
Yeah. Check it out. Go check out my tweet. I tweeted it today.
Oh, we lost Beardy again. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. That sounds very interesting, actually.
Sounds like while I'm here, let me go see. But Oh, you know what? As I sit here and say it, they deleted the tweet.
Oh, really?
Oh, no.
Look at that. It was somebody like Ubisoft and somebody else. So they might have dropped a couple too many ats, and they might have gotten in trouble.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Here, I have it
Alright,
out to it. I have it out to a text message. There it goes. Ubisoft and Riot Games. So Ubisoft is a huge player.
Riot's a big company.
Riot's huge. That's what I'm saying. They're
Mhm.
what are they doing? Valkyrie or Valkyrin or whatever game is out now?
Oh, yeah, Valorant.
Valorant. Yeah.
And they were the creators of League of Legends.
There you go.
I know that, and I'm not even a gamer. Why do I know that game? What is it? What is that game about?
League of Legends is like a lane-based MOBA where you have like 3 lanes and you have 5 people on each team, and you use different characters with different abilities to try to like destroy the other person's base or towers at the end of the lanes.
Oh, okay.
It's a popular gaming genre that's been around for like maybe 15 years or so. And
Yeah.
League of Legends is like the biggest one in that space.
But
Nice. Okay, right on. That's cool. All right. So I guess we're going to go on to our final question of the day. Grinder, I know you had mentioned that you wanted to show us some charts and go over some stuff with us, and then follow up for everyone is we each share one piece of advice we could tell our younger selves, and talk about the best and worst thing that I think that happened in crypto this week.
All right, sounds good. So yeah, we'll just show the Bitcoin chart here. Because everybody cares about that one the most. We're above all moving averages.
Actually, sir, I much more concerned with the Pepe chart.
Of course.
Sorry.
Well, maybe we can get to Pepe too after we get through the king here. So price action this whole week has been above all MAs. It's been above the 200-week SMA. It's been above the bull market support band. It's been above horizontal support here. So yeah, I'm not worried about it. Let's move over to the weekly view and zoom in a little bit here. To me, this looks like a hold of this breakout, So we came up in April. We rode this resistance line down to come back and test the 200-week SMA and the bull market support band. We tested the 200-week SMA for 4 weeks, but in one of those weeks, we got above the resistance line. We came back down for a back test of that diagonal resistance line in confluence with the bull market support band, held it for 2 weeks, and then blasted off from there with the help of that ETF news, of course. But lose it going back over to the daily to look at the volumes, the daily volumes on these a little bit better here. You can see that the ETF news, the BlackRock ETF news, had significant volume coming in because not only did we hold that line, like I said, but that news was really positive. It brought us back up to the top of the local top range here from April, and with the like scared the scary news on Friday of like, oh, maybe it's inadequate, you can see a pretty similar amount of volume came in on that day as well, but the price just stayed the same. So if everybody who bought this were just speculating and thinking that, oh, okay, it's, maybe I can make some quick money, you would have seen it all go out. This would have been a red volume candle and the price would have maybe come all the way back down to here, but it didn't. It stayed flat. So I like that price action. I think that that's the biggest thing that we can kind of point to over the last week. And again, if we go back over to the weekly view, if we hold on to this horizontal support here, which we've only got 4 hours left until this weekly candle closes, I think we're in a pretty good position to potentially start testing the 100-week SMA here and go from there. So anybody have any questions on that?
Yeah, what's the 100? I can't see that. That's small. It's on the screen. It's too small for me to read. What's the 100-week price?
The 100-week price right now is at about 32.8.
And I think that's kind of what we had talked about where a couple of weeks ago when we said it would have to reach like like somewhere almost to 33, right? Where before we would know for sure not if this was going to be like a for sure kind of push up, or if we might come back down to test that. I don't remember what level we said. But is that still holding? You still think that holds true?
Yeah. If I switch this over to, wrong button. If I switch this over to, what was it under? No drawings. If I switch this over to like my overall thesis here, so this is going back to 2017 bull run, and you take the fib levels there and the retracement of that and where we got to, and then when we got back on top of the bull market support band and we came up to about the right in the middle of the 0.382 and the 0.236 fib level. So if we were to play out something almost identical to 2019 pre-halving year run, that could potentially put us somewhere up around like 46, 45. But I do not think that it will be as big of a push this time as it was last time. So I've been saying that the top for this year, I think is probably going to be no more than 42,000, but maybe more likely 35 to 36,000 because of this horizontal resistance line here at the 0.5 fib level, because there was a lot of action played out in there over the bull run in 2021.
Okay, and then I know this is the the famous last words everyone always says, but this time is different. But pardon me.
I think I
Sorry,
know
guys.
what you're. I think I know what you're getting at. If
Yeah,
this
can you
time
go?
is,
Yeah, go ahead.
if this time was different, I would say it would be a combination of 2019 and 2016. So
Okay.
in 2016, if we go back a little bit here, uh, Bitcoin just kind of rode the bull market support band up and then kept coming back down and testing it and holding it and kept going up and up and up, and it never fell underneath the bull market support band. So if we wanted to kind of combine the two, it would basically be thinking of it as like we want to push uh, we would like to see a push that's similar to the 2019 move, but it might be slower because it's trying to replicate the 2017 move of like getting a little bit above the bull market support band, coming back down, testing it, holding it, going back up, and hopefully we can just keep riding it. So if we merge those two ideas, I could see that as like theoretically happening, but I like to play the riskier side, or be conservative. So
Yeah.
if it falls below the bull market support band like it did in towards the tail end of 2019, and look, it did it in September. So that's what I'm looking for. September is going to be the key. September is always the worst month of the year for crypto. Are we going to lose the bull market support band by September? If we do and we fall under it, that's probably going to be not financial advice, but your last chance to kind of scoop up whatever you need to do before we go on a bull run. September in the last quarter of this year is when I'm going to be looking at maybe allocating to some alts, as well as continuing to follow completing my Bitcoin bag, and then hopefully we'll get a run. But if we don't lose the bull markets by September and we've been holding it, that it might be more like 2016 than 2019.
Gotcha. I just my question, I guess, is kind of trying to think how to describe this. I guess my only ability to say like this time may be different is because historically September has been such a bad month, but with Fidelity and all the Black Rocks and all them right now, would they allow it to go that low, or would they be buying all during that month, and keeping the price kind of elevated? I don't know. So that would be
Right.
interesting to see how that plays out. So that'll be a cool birthday present to me because my birthday is actually in September. So Larry, if you would dump a bunch of money into it, like right around September, and shoot the price up to an all-time high, I would really appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah. So let's see. Do we want to move on to the next one?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Joe asked me for an update on a Solana chart.
Yes,
so here's the updated Solana chart. So here's the negative news in June about the SEC going after a bunch of tokens, Solana being one of them. You can see that it had a very large capitulation candle outside of the Bollinger Bands, which is that blue band that goes along the price action here, and it came down, but it didn't even touch the lows in November 22, and a lot of other tokens at that same time did touch the bottom or go below, and then now are like staying under. So when you're in this part of the cycle, I always look at it as like relative strength, relative to everything else. How's it doing? Like, obviously going down is not great. We don't want to see that. But if an asset is going down less than other assets of similar classes, in this case, layer ones, that's where you want to be, because if you believe that anything's going to come back in the next cycle, you want to be on, in my opinion, you want to be in an asset that is performing better when compared to the other assets. I'm satisfied with the price action here on that capitulation because it did better than other ones. It got back above its 20-day SMA, where not a lot of other coins can say that. It's also this week, because of like that Fire Dancer news or that bridge news that came out, it got back above horizontal support. It got back above the 50-day SMA here. It's tapping on the 200-day SMA, and that's going to be the real test, because that is, you can see when we broke out of this large wedge that I had back here, we came back down and we tested the 200-day SMA over and over and over again, and was holding it for a really long time. And finally, we lost it whenever the whole market went down. So we need to prove that we can reclaim that. If we can't reclaim that, it can get rejected there like anything else. So it's going to be an interesting week to see if we can get above the 200-day and potentially the bull market support band coming up here. I don't have a lot of high hopes for the summer, but again, it's one of the few layer ones that is testing its 200-day SMA, where other ones are still under their 50-day SMA, and so on and so forth.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very neat. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no worries. And then I think you also wanted to learn or see the graph.
Yes. If you don't mind, that would be fantastic.
Okay. So the graph is actually a little bit similar to Solana in the sense that it dropped below its 200-day SMA and on that capitulation, on that negative SEC news. But it was holding the 200-day SMA prior to that. It didn't go as low as before because it had a pretty big run at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
And it got back above its 20-day, and today it's trying to get above its 50-day, and it's testing the 200-day SMA right now. So it's kind of in a similar boat, but obviously a different type of product. There's a little bit of more volume coming in here, but nothing compared to the spike at the beginning of the year in February. So it, you could also probably draw somewhat of a resistance line right here like this. So I wouldn't really get too excited about it until, I wouldn't get too excited about it until it kind of breaks that line, which again would also be in line with the bull market support band that you can see ranging here. So if you can get above both of those, maybe it's got some legs in the short term.
Okay, cool.
And then last but not least, Beardy wanted me to go over Tesla, right, buddy?
You don't want P&D Tesla to knife you, do you?
Yeah, we better start talking about Tesla more often because of the T&D Tesla told us we had to. And I don't know if T&D Tesla's a man or woman, but I'm very fond of that human being. So whatever,
It's a woman.
whatever. Oh, is it? Okay. I had seen her say like my husband before, but like you can have a husband and be a man, so I didn't want to be like a
You
dick
didn't
if
want to
I
make any
actually.
you didn't want to make
Yeah,
any
yeah.
assumptions.
Because
Oh,
Yeah.
there's hope for
like
Joe then.
she's very kind, at least on the internet. So I didn't want to be offensive if it was a guy and be like, hey, like I thought you're a woman, like it's
I'll jump in. T&D is a fantastic person.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I'm
yeah.
very,
Yeah.
very fond of her. So
She's very active in a lot of circles in the
mhm.
crypto community. She does a lot of moderating. So keep it up.
Wrench tossing.
Keep it up. Yeah, she's doing great. Um,
Wrench mob.
so yeah, this is my current Tesla chart. I don't feel that I do as well with equities as I do with crypto in terms of TA. So that's the disclaimer beforehand. Um, I am impressed by the price action, though. It held the bull market support. It got above the bull market support band. It held it, and then it got through the 200-day SMA. And I believe I told you, Joe, that this was the horizontal resistance from the former fib level that I was telling you to watch. That's when I labeled that the decision maker, and it got above it. And it stayed above it, and it looks like it's coming back down and it's trying to hold the 20-day SMA. So you could potentially have some more room to run with this, but I think I think it's too hot. If you're looking at the RSI, it's pretty high. I think it needs to cool off, and traditionally in the summers is a good time for things to cool off. You can also see that the volume is decreasing from the top of that pump as well.
Hmm.
Um, so I think it needs to come down and maybe retest the bull market support band um, before you have any like major run breaking out of this level. But
Okay.
I could be I could be wrong. I could be
Well,
wrong.
I know they just announced today, actually right before we went on, that they had beaten expectations. I think they delivered 466,000, or they produced 479,000 vehicles this quarter, and then delivered 466,000 because they have to, depending on where they're shipping them to, they have to put them on a boat or something. So, um,
Right.
so but Tesla stock is so weird because there've been like we've beaten expectations, and I say Tesla has beaten expectations previously and then dropped for like in price, like it didn't make sense, and then on days where like you have bad news, they rallied. So it doesn't really make sense. I don't really understand it. So maybe
Right.
they do this news, maybe they kind of pitter out for a couple of days, and then analysts come in and then raise their prices on it again, and then that's when it takes off with the legs that you're talking about.
Yeah, and one thing that I was looking at Beardy when I was and for Joe when I was looking at this last night, this is kind of like an interesting exercise. So if I remove this fib level, and then obviously the more data you have or the longer the data, the more reliable it can be. So this is kind
Mhm.
of a short time frame for a fib level here. But if you drew this as your initial fib level from this moving up
Yeah.
from the beginning of the year,
Okay.
what you'll see is that it came back down to test the golden ratio. And upon testing the golden ratio, that's when it started its next move. So then, if I go back and put that old one back on, if it was to have somewhat of a similar move, that would mean you'd be testing the 200 to the 180 zone, maybe at like September or something towards the
Okay.
end of the year. So that's what I would kind of be looking at if you not financial advice, but that's what I would be looking at if you were wanted to add some more to your position is maybe, going into Q3 before Q4, you might be able to get down to this 200 area. If it, so pay attention to the bull market support band
Hmm.
at around like 210
Okay.
to the golden ratio at
Okay.
about 180. If you can get some in there, and then maybe it has a Christmas rally in Q4, I think that could be a good place to maybe put some buy orders.
Nice, right on. Well, it sounds like I'm not going on a vacation for my birthday this year, and I'm buying myself some crypto and Tesla stock.
Is the
God,
So
I
golden
hate
yeah,
being
ratio like a
financially responsible as an adult.
that's
is the
all the
golden
charts I
ratio
got.
like a golden shower?
No.
Sorry,
Those you have to pay extra for, Beardy.
Yes.
got it.
All right. So, next part of the question, sir. One piece of advice to your younger self, and then the best and worst thing you think happened in crypto.
All right. I'll go first and get it out of the way and then hand it over to these guys. I said the best thing about crypto is that I see it as a peaceful revolution. It's a way to break yourself away from aspects of the system or government that you don't agree with and support causes that you do agree with in a peaceful way. So I think that technology and uh, digitizing the world has given us opportunities to be able to resist and fight back and protest in ways that could never be imaginable before the internet and blockchain technology and whatnot. So I think that that's the best thing about crypto. And the worst thing about crypto is the scammers coming in here and destroying something good. But there's always going to be a bad apple in every bunch. There's always going to be somebody who's ruining everything or bad actors. So don't let the loud people screaming about the bad actors have you lose sight about all the good that's going on in this space as well.
Benny,
Yeah.
that's you. Benny. Oh, Beardy. Sorry.
All right, Barry, as our honorary guest, you are next up, sir.
What are your questions again there?
Yeah. So, what is the best and the worst thing that happened in crypto this week? And then one piece of advice for our younger self.
Piece of advice for younger self: educate yourself. Educate yourself on the process. Educate yourself on the deepest part of the failure that you could possibly experience. Educate yourself on the projects. Educate yourself. Just
Yep.
learn.
Nice. All right.
Best thing
Beardy.
to happen to
Oh,
crypto.
sorry. Go ahead. Yep. Yep.
Best thing to happen to crypto this week is we closed with a green 3-month candle on Bitcoin. So bravo, Bitcoin. I believe that's now a 6-month green candle too, because we got through 3 back-to-backs. Look at that.
Yeah, that's nice.
So bravo to Bitcoin. And the worst thing to happen to Bitcoin was naturally we had our inadequate filings of an ETF.
Yep. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, AKA they didn't write down the name of who's holding the bag and who's blowing the whistle. But yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Right on. Beardy.
I would say everything is bullish for Bitcoin. That's the best thing. It's giving the little guys like us a shot, to kind of get out of fight back. Like you said, and like Grinder mentioned, all the shysters that come with it, but that's part of the deal. And for the kids, I'd say don't be like me. When I was high school, I figured, the adults might be morons, but I didn't think they could screw things up too bad, and they had everybody's best interest. Well, it turns out you got to just think for yourself and don't put all your trust into yourself and invest in yourself. And that's about it.
Nice. Right on.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Honestly, that's a good point. So I guess the best thing for crypto this week was that on everything is bullish. We're trending upward. Everyone is realizing that Gary's an idiot, and we just laugh at him when he throws stuff at the wall now, and we just buy the dips. So I think that's pretty fantastic, to be honest with you. Worst thing that happened this week, I think the ETF kind of scare was a scam wick, and I feel bad for the people who lost their Bitcoin because they sold at a discount and then are out that money now. So I feel bad for them. I think that's kind of it goes back to the scammers. Piece of advice for my younger self would probably be just embrace the suck and learn that stuff is going to happen and there's nothing you can do about it and there's no point getting upset and, like losing sleep over it. Just it's going to be what it's going to be,
Mm-hmm.
So that would be it for me. But I do like Grinder's comment about the community and everything because I get to hang out with you guys every Sunday through the internet, which is like this thing that no one even know. I don't even understand how it works.
Bravo.
And somehow I'm talking into a mic with 3 people that I've never met in real life, but I get to hang out with for an hour every week. Like I think that's pretty freaking cool. It brought the 3 of us, or all of us together. So I think that's pretty neat. So I think crypto's a cool community. So I thought that was very elegant, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'd rather be with a supermodel.
Well, obviously, I would much rather be with Margot. What's the chick who played Harley Quinn?
I know
Margot
who you're
Robbie.
talking about.
Margot Robbie. Yeah, I'd much rather be with her than talking to you guys right now, to be honest, unfortunately. But, like that can't happen. So
For like
I
a whole
guess you guys
5
are a
minutes.
close second. You're a pretty close second.
I'll take it.
Except for Beardy. He's a pretty distant third.
Yeah,
Oh,
I agree with that.
That guy. Oh, hey, buddy. Sorry I didn't see you there. Anyways.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. All right. So, any other final remarks from you guys? If not, we're about an hour and 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
So, I know we
you
can sit here and keep talking, but
hey, thank you very much for inviting me on
yeah, no,
Yeah,
thank you
no
so much for
problem.
having us
to
on.
wrap up. Yeah, this is a cool experience. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to have you back on again. Maybe we can do like a monthly recap with you or something.
Oh my! Listen, if and when they fire Gary, please include me. We'll just throw popcorn at the
Oh
phones.
my God,
and
that's
our
going to be an
screens.
amazing party. That
Let
will
me
probably
know
be our first
Gary.
live
Let
stream.
me know Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll bring you back. We'll bring you back for that for sure.
Yeah,
true that.
that will be our first live stream. When Gary Gensler gets fired, we will probably
Oh my God.
hopefully be able to do a live stream by that point. And we will be acting all kinds of hood radish and making very mean statements about his ancestors.
Yeah. You go.
So, all right. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in for this week, watching with us. We hope you guys enjoyed. Let's go. Hey, Grinder, can you pull up everyone's Twitter, buddy? And
Yeah, sure.
plug everyone. So we
There's
have Let Me Know
Barry.
Barry. Sorry, buddy. Go ahead.
It's a good looking ape.
Not a bad ape.
Here's Beardy.
Yes.
A good looking beard.
Here's Joe.
There's me. Yep.
And last but not least,
The most important one of the show, who gives us all the TA charts, the only Mr. Grinder.
thank you.
You're welcome. Hooray!
Let's
All
go
right,
hit
y'all
up.
have a great night.
Let's go hit up Barry's garden. His organicals.
Yeah. It's herbicidal. All right. Well, you guys go outside. Remember to touch some grass. Safe 4th of July. Beardy, do not want to see you with bottles of vodka playing with M80s again this year, okay? You don't get to do that this year, buddy, okay?
Yeah, you got the twins to think about.
You need 2 bottles of vodka, bro.
Yeah. Right. There's a bottle of vodka and an M80 for every kid. Here you go, kids. Go have fun. All right. You guys have a great night, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye, guys.